Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Welcome back, Mr. Sabali.
Thank you.
May I remind you that you are still under oath.
Correct.
And you are expected to be 100% truthful in your testimony.
Correct.
Before the break, we were talking about the kinds of torture that was meted out on you. You indicated that there was an instance. The first one was when a plastic bag was put over your head, Piccadilly plastic bag.
Correct.
And your head is being shoved in and out of a bucket containing liquid of a mixture of acid. It was acidic, but contained gasoline, water, and other liquids.
Correct.
The second instance is when you were taken to the beach and your head was being dipped in and out of the sea until you completely blacked out. And the third is
point of correction, please. The beach is not only the head, but the complete body was immersed in water.
Your complete body was immersed in water.
Correct.
You were being dipped in and out until you passed out.
Correct.
Thank you for that correction, Mr. Sabali. You also indicate that you were buried alive almost on 3 different occasions.
Correct.
You also said that in some of the tortures, Manlafikor wielded a hammer, and that hammer was used all over your body.
Correct.
And you indicated that you've been tortured over 20 times, and throughout, during those periods, Elijah Martin called Lagos was the head of the torturers,
Correct.
or was the head of the torture team. You also indicated members of the torture team. You also indicated a fourth type of torture, which is when you are being forced to eat. Yes.
Correct.
So now let's proceed. Have you ever, well, what other means of torture were also used against you?
Can I say something quickly?
Please, go ahead.
These tortures intensify in the first 2 months of my arrest, before the visit of the ICRC, the International Committee of the Red Cross.
That's right. So we want to have the full spectrum of the various types of torture that were meted on you. We also want to know their effect on you and other people, their impact and all that. So proceed now with your testimony regarding the other types of torture that was meted out on you.
Another time they came with a long bag. It's called this Sankilo bag, the long one. This groundnut bag, I will call it for all of us to understand the type of bag I'm referring to. And then when they came, they tied my legs, tied my hands, and then they put me inside this bag. And then I was hung up in the air on a ceiling, and then this bag was swinging left and right, front and back. And I was head down.
How did it feel?
It's like I was a ping pong ball. When they shoved me to the left, Malafi shoved me back. Like Martin shoved me back to Malafi. And it was like that, going and coming, going and coming.
How did it feel to you?
Dizzy, completely. My blood completely came on my head, and I swooned at one point.
You passed out?
Completely.
And throughout this period, what was their objective?
I believe they wanted to break my spirit completely. One, in that I would lie, because they had always come with a tape recorder. And later I come to understand they had always recorded these incidents and they had shown it to Jame.
Recorded how? Video?
Video, but that one I cannot confirm. But the tape recorder was always there.
So apart from being hung up the ceiling, with your head down, in a groundnut bag or sack, so to say. What else did they do to you? Can you tell us about the short circles?
Okay. These were some of the moments when they would come with an electric machine, and they had electrocuted me. They would apply one of the electrodes on my neck, on my tongue, and then the other on my penis. And they would be adding the voltage slowly, voltage high and voltage down. And these all were accompanied with beatings. And yeah.
They electrocuted you?
Genau.
On your penis and on
my
your
penis
tongue?
and my tongue.
Who did that?
Alaji Martin and Lamin Senghor.
Where did this happen?
This happened in Mile 2 for the first time. Then the second time, they took me to the NIA headquarters.
And at the NIA headquarters, who did it?
This I cannot tell exactly who, where, but there was one name I heard clearly was Dabo, but I don't know his first name, but they used to call him Dabo. Yeah. On
this particular occasion, was Alaji Martin there?
Yeah, he had always come for me. For tortures, he was always there. He was never absent.
Lamin Senghor?
Lamin Senghor was always there.
PM Sar?
PM Sar, as I said, he had never touched me physically, but he was always standing by.
Manlafi?
Manlafi, yeah. He was also there.
Ndur?
Ndur also was there. These are TSG personnel.
Bach Sambaba?
Bach hardly comes every day. His comments were not oft.
Babukar Bob?
Babukar Bob also was not always.
So, you said this electrocution was done together with beatings.
Exactly.
Can you describe the beatings? What would they use against you?
As I said, Malafi had always come with this Warrington claw hammer. And for him, this was the weapon he had always used on me. And that's why I lost my disc tooth on the left-hand side here.
And apart from this electrocution, did they use another method of torture on you?
Correct. This was another time when they came. As I said, I was always naked completely, like a needle. And they took me out first. Then they brought Sadibu. He was in the prisons and in confinement number 5. And there in the corridor, they let us down first. And then they took a pin, long pin. This was iron. And then they drove it right inside my penis. And then the same thing was done to Sadibu. right in my presence, and whilst they meted the same thing to me, he was standing watching. And the other day they came, for the first time in my life, I come to know what a G-string is. They brought two, they asked me to wear it by force, and then they did the same thing to Sadibou. They said we should pose as prostitutes, so to say, in their term. And along the line, they said I should, with Sadibou Hydra, we should make homosexual actions, meaning I should have sex with Sadibou Hydra. And I refused, or we refused. Yeah, they beat us to death, so to say.
Who did that?
Alaji Martin, Lamin Senghor, Ndur, Malafikor, on this particular occasion.
When you said they beat us to death, what do you mean?
As always, Malafi had his claw Warrington hammer, and then they used the butt of the AK-47 to bust us.
Do you know what was it that was used to be inserted in your penis?
I think it would be the small iron in a bicycle. It looked like that, not exactly. In a bicycle.
The spook?
Genau, the spokes of a bicycle, but it is not that exactly, but it looks like that.
How did it feel?
Terribly painful, and that's why they ruptured my bladder.
How did these people react when you were agonizing, when you were in pain? How did they react?
Unless I go black out, they never stop. Or when Malafikor had played the good cop, then they limit it and then start again. Because then they would ask if I have to talk. When I don't, then it continues again.
Who asks the questions?
It is always Alaji Martin who directs the questions to be asked. And Lamin Senghor was always asking. And Malafikor was the good cop.
Apart from this type of torture, what other method did they use on you?
I want to come to but I would want here to mention I had two ladies with me in the residence. These two ladies, when I got arrested, they were picked up, but not at mile 2. They were taken to NI headquarters for 2 months. It was when I discharged from the prisons, they got to tell me all the ordeals they underwent at the NI headquarters. These two ladies were very close to me. They were taken to the NI headquarters. According to them, they were stripped completely naked, and at the NI headquarters, bananas were used, sticks were used as dildos, right into their womanhoods. I'm sorry for the language. And they have been told, you will never have a man inside you anymore because we will destroy your womanhood. And this continued for 2 good months before they were eventually released. I learned from them the person they could identify was one Baba Drame.
Did they say anything about the questions they were asked at NIA?
They were asked if I had told them anything of my plans or would-be plans to get rid of Yaya. And they were asked also to confirm what statements they were going to say in the event they are brought before me. And once that was done, while they tortured them, I was brought in and I stood and I watched how they were being tortured.
You mean that you were taken from Mile 2?
Exactly.
Brought to NIA?
Exactly.
And made you watch?
Exactly.
While these two women
Exactly.
who were close to you were being tortured?
Tortured, exactly.
Who did that?
The NIA headquarters personnel, I don't know them exactly, but I said one person I could remember was called Dabo, but I don't know him in person. But this name I kept in my brain since then.
And what kind of torture did you see?
At this particular time, on this issue, on this day, as I said, they had used bananas and dildos inside their womanhoods.
And who was administering this gruesome process?
This was this Dabo I'm talking about.
As this was being done, were you being asked questions?
Nay, at this particular point, nay, they didn't ask me questions, but later they moved me into another room where they asked me to sign the statement that I wanted to kill Jame. If not, they will bring these ladies and they will kill them in my presence.
Did you sign?
I didn't sign anything.
You still refuse?
I still refuse, yeah, correct.
They still can't break you?
Nay.
How about Haidara?
Haidara was also the same thing. But on this particular day at the headquarters, at my headquarters, Haidara was not there.
Can you give us a description of this Dabo?
He's a tall guy, tall, slanky somebody. If I could remember, the intonation is either from Gunjur, Sukuta, or Sanyang. This is the Mandinka dialect there.
Thank you very much for that. But apart from this Dabo, you could not recall anybody?
Any other person.
Do you recall who escorted you from Mile 2 to NIA on this occasion?
Elijah Martin's team always had come for me if I have to leave Mile 2 for tortures.
Could you kindly remove your hands from your mouth so we can hear you clearly? I know this is very difficult. We crave your indulgence. It is important that we bring things out so that the Gambian people would know some of the things that Gambians have done on other Gambians. It is absolutely important. I am terribly sorry. So, on this occasion, was it just Alaji Martin or was it the entire team?
Alaji Martin was there, Malavikor was there, Lance Corporal Senghor and Ndu was there.
And these women were kept at NIA for 2 months, you
2
said?
months, according to their information they gave me.
But you confirmed seeing them at the NIA when this process of torture was being meted out on them?
Exactly.
How did it feel seeing these two women close to you being treated in such a barbaric manner?
Horrific. Yeah. Perhaps if they were military personnel, I could understand.
Military personnel do not deserve to be tortured.
What I mean is probably is that they could have undergone a training where they could resist some of these things, I mean.
Nobody deserves to be tortured.
Okay.
Nobody. Apart from this method of torture, what other method did they use on you?
Another time they brought in this, I don't know where they got it, but if one is from the villages, if you had a sweater on, mostly you walk into the bush, these closed footpaths, the seeds come attached to you. It has
thorns.
Thorns, exactly, correct. Thank you for the word. And these were spread on the wall, sorry, on the floor, and this was in the NIA headquarters. And then we were naked, me and Sadibu. They dragged us on these thorns, edges.
And what happened when your body came into contact with these stones?
Lacerations. We sustained lacerations, and they poured cool water, ice water on us.
For how long did this happen?
As long as I can remember, we were there in the morning, and when we came, I found my lunch in the cells. So this could be around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Were you conscious throughout, or you
Yeah, when they
passed
brought
out?
me back this summer, I was conscious.
And who participated in this incident?
This is Alaji Martin, Lance Corporal Senghor, Ndur, and Malafikor. As I said, Private PM Sar had never laid hands on me.
How would you describe these people, Alaji Martin, Lance Corporal Senghor, Ndur, and Bob? How would you describe them?
Well, they are torturers, that's all.
Your word is they are what?
They are torturers.
Torturers, that's what you said. What do you say to the suggestion that you were never tortured, they just asked you questions? What do you say to that?
That is totally false. That is totally false.
Do you know what is called waterboarding?
Right.
Have you ever experienced it?
Yeah. I think I'd prefer if you would only read it, please.
It's all right. I would skip it. But can you confirm to us that you experienced it?
Yeah, many times.
Who did it to you?
Alaji Martin and his team, Malafikor, Lance Corporal Senghor, and Ndur.
If you don't mind,
Yeah.
I can read out an excerpt from your statement.
Please,
If only if you don't mind.
I agree.
You had this to say, and I quote, "On this session, we were told it's a washing day, an order from the president. Quote, take them to their washing, unquote. As if we were circumcised, initiated children to take their first bath after 1 month in the bush or woods. This was around 3 to 5 a.m., I calculated, or knew from the early morning bird singing. We were taken to the sea just across the highway, directly in front of the prisons.
Correct.
We were in our usual torture sessions uniform, in brackets, but they shoot, that is, stark naked. And costume jewelry, that is, shackles and handcuffs. The air was very cold and windy. The seawater was near freezing point. By the baser intelligence interrogation methods called waterboarding, they strapped us down and pushing us under the water until we were made to believe one might drown. We had been in this way on and on, held underwater until we had in fact begun to drown and lost consciousness, only to be revived by our torturers and submerged again. It was one of our worst memories and experiences." That's what you said.
Correct, 100% correct.
Who did this to you?
It's Alaji Martin, Malafikor, Ndur, and Lance Corporal Senghor.
You were also subjected to the water pit treatment.
Genau.
In your statement, you said as follows: there was the water pit, in which most communal cell blocks in the jail, that is housing the criminal convicts, empty their waste matter. Also thrown into this pit was every type of conceivable dirt. We are made to stand on tiptoe to avoid drowning. Who did this to you?
This is Alaji Martin, Lance Corporal Senghor, Malafikor, Ndur.
Other sessions, we were left gagged with our hands tied on the top of our cell door, after being questioned by the NIA and the close bodyguards or soldiers to the president? Who are you referring to? Which bodyguards or soldiers to the president?
This was the time Khalifa Bajinka took part in this session with Musa Jammeh, plus Alaji Martin and his team.
You went on to say that at one location you were blindfolded and hooded and kept in scorching hot shipping containers.
Right.
We went through that.
Okay.
You also described that on one occasion you were chained for a week.
Exactly. There I would explain, in the cell, in confinement number 1, cell number 4, both ends of the room, this room is 2.25 meters long, 2.5 meters, the width and length is almost the same, maybe the height would be 3 meters. And as I said, on the head side is a raised bankment, and at the foot end also is the same thing, maybe 50 centimeters high. And this is where normally the plank of wood as a bed is laid upon. But there they dug in the wall, and then they put an iron bar there, and in the foot side also they put the same iron bar. And the plank of wood was removed, and I was tied in my handcuff. On the bed side, in the head side, I was chained. And then in the left side, on the feet side, I was chained and I was hanging there. And this was the time I was left there for that long.
No wooden plank under your body?
Nah.
You are forced to suspend pretty
Exactly.
much. How did it feel?
Yeah. My tendons were all completely, yeah.
Up to now, you would not talk?
Nay, I never gave in. Up to the day I left prison, I never gave in.
Another time, tell us about the efforts to insert certain things in your body. Would you be willing to talk about that?
Yeah.
Tell us.
This was also another day. They put an iron inside my anus, and I was hanging by my hands on the ceiling, but barely my feet touches the ground. And since my weight, whole body weight was on my wrist, if I tried to move, it was like I would be impaled by the iron inside my anus.
Who did that to you?
Alaji Martin, Lance Kapur Senghor, Malafikor, Andur.
What do you mean by impaled? I know the word, I know the meaning.
Yeah, this was like if I bring my weight down on my feet, it picks me right inside my anus. So I am forced to stay exactly where I am on my wrist at the ceiling like this.
And being impaled means that the stick or the metal rod would pierce through your body
Exactly.
and come out from your head.
This is what
If you were to fall down directly into onto that rod.
exactly.
How about castration? Do you hear anything about that? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. This was a repetition of what they asked us to do. That means I have to have sex with Sadibu Hydra and Sadibu with me. And since we refused, they said, okay, then we will castrate you. since we don't want to have sex together with each other. And this was the time they started with Hydra. They forced him down on the ground. They put an iron bar under his testicles. And Maleficor took the claw pen Warrington hammer. And then they first beat the muscles on the testicles, or inside the testicles. And I am not a doctor at the time, I am not a medical personnel at the time, but if we were today, I would definitely say the cause of Sadibu's death was from that. Because thereafter, he bled up to the day he died. Nostrils, ears, anus, penis, everything was blood.
Who did that to him?
This is Alaji Martin, Lance Kapul, Sengor, Malafikor, and Dur.
Your testimony is that Sadibu died from this torture.
I would say that.
Who killed him?
This would be from these tortures, Malafikor, Lance Kapul, Sengor, Alaji Martin, and Dur.
Your testimony is that Sadibu Haidara was murdered by Manlafikor, Alaji Martin, alias Lagos, Lamin Senghor.
Correct.
I have here a copy of the investigative report that was done by the NIA.
Okay.
It is part of the documents we received from the NIA. And it says, the caption is investigation report. I am passing a photocopy to the chairman, and I'll be reading from the original. It says, investigation report on the sudden death of Captain Sadibu Haidara.
Okay.
Would you agree to that headline?
No, totally not.
And it went on to say as follows. On Saturday, 3rd June 1995, Captain Sadibu Haidara, a former Minister of the Interior and member of the AFPRC, who on Friday, 27th January 1995 was detained at Mile 2 prisons along with 26 others for their alleged attempt on the life of AFPRC chairman and head of state, Captain Yahya AJJ Jame, in an attempt to seize power. Died in his cell in the remand wing at Mile 2. The aim of the report is to highlight the outcome of the investigations into the sudden death of Sadibu Haidara. And the case history suggests that the late ex-captain Sadibu Haidara met his death on Saturday, 3rd June 1995, while in his cell at the remand wing due to an illness. And it says, according to the investigations, the late Sadibu, for the past years, had been complaining of hypertension. During his detention too, he complained of fever and revealed he was a hypertension patient. Is that true?
I have many points of correction on this information. One, Sadibu never complained of any high blood issues. Two, he didn't die at the remand wing in the State Central Prison. He died in security wing number 1 in cell number 9, exactly at 1600 hours 17, in my hands.
Let me read out the findings of the report.
And he died on the 6th, not on the 3rd.
Thank you very much for that. How come you still recall this date?
This date, I will never forget it in my life. Yeah.
The findings of the report. It says as follows. A thorough investigation was made to find out about Sadibu Haidara's death. There is no evidence of foul play being detected, and during the post-mortem, he was found to be well-built, well-nourished, and no external signs of injury was detected too. He was just found to have had oedema hypertension and multiple liver problems. The results of the post-mortem exercise have specified the cause of death. Conclusion. Sadibu Haidara is therefore deemed to have died on a natural death while in detention at remand wing in Mile 2. Signed by investigative officers J.B. Mendy and Fodebari. Is this report true?
It is totally false. It's a fabrication. For me, if the doctor who made the post-mortem wrote this information to these two officers, his license to operate as a medical personnel should have been revoked immediately.
It's a cover-up.
Exactly. Sadibu died in my hands 1600 hours 17 on the 6th of June.
Or the 3rd, which one?
It's not on the 3rd, it's on the 6th. We prayed 2 o'clock prayers. We were waiting for 5 o'clock prayers. I and LF Jame were playing Scrabble, and Sadibu went back into his cell and laid down. And then he called me. I came, and he was lying down on his back, and he said, "Help me, I'm seeing my grandmother." I said to him, "Yeah, you are seeing your grandmother, but you are in Mile 2 here. Do not worry, we'll go out of this place alive." And all of a sudden, I saw the eyes were changing, and I knew he was nearing his death. But still I kept with him. And then he asked me, "What do you do with people who didn't understand where you stand for them?" Meaning the council members who betrayed us. And he told me, there's a verse in the Holy Quran which deals with forgiveness. Let us forgive them. And then he asked me to read Surah Yasin for him, and we did. I did rather. And then I called Babu Kanjai, I called Ablai Bojang, he was a prison officer, who was the sergeant who was in charge of us. Then I called the two, and then they came. I told them, help me to lay him down properly on his back. And we laid him properly on his back. And I asked Njai to go out and Ablai Bojang to go out. And I stayed with him until he breathed his last. Exactly 1600 hours 17 on the 6th of June.
You did not forget?
No.
Even a second in that time?
No. Because immediately he passed out, he closed his eyes. I closed his eyes. I asked Njai to tell me the time. And he told me exactly it was 1600 hours 17.
You did not want to forget that time?
No, I can't forget that time. I can't. Sadibu is part of me. And he will ever remain to be part of me.
Yes, I mean, if your wife wants to come and assist, she can. Feel free.
It's okay. I can carry on. It's okay.
Thank you.
I can carry on. Now I come back to my own castration.
Yes.
When Sadibu passed out in these tortures, I'm not talking about his death now, but at
the time of the torture.
Exactly.
Yes.
They were confused, but they never stopped. And then they put him aside. And then I was brought in, forced on the ground. They put the same iron bar under my testicles, and Malafi came with his hammer again, and he started beating the muscles that joins the testicles and the other sexual organs within the body. I think at one point I also got blackout, pass out. And since the day on until I discharged, we got no medical attention. When I left the prisons, my fear came true that I had sexual dysfunction from these tortures. Of course, I underwent through medical treatment for all these years, and thank God, it has completely not healed, but better.
They attempted to castrate you.
Exactly.
Mr. Sabali, how do you feel that you've gone through all these types of torture in the hands of your former colleagues and your brothers in force, your brothers in arms? How do you feel?
I felt betrayed in as much as I have done nothing. The accusation in quotation, yeah, I felt betrayed completely.
We have had testimony that this was poetic justice. You had tortured people.
Okay.
It was your turn to be tortured.
Exactly.
That is the way it goes.
Exactly. What goes around comes around.
Or what? Exactly. What do you say to that?
Correct.
Do you regret the tortures that you meted out on other people?
I do, wholeheartedly. I wish I knew at the time what I know today, and what I learned in the prisons, I wish I had known it before. Meaning, in the prisons, as I always say, it's the last university for me in the world. I had learned wisdom, humility, patience, and understanding. And that's why I came out of prison not bitter, but better. And I have forgiven all of them.
That is deeply profound. You came out not bitter, but better.
Exactly.
Deeply profound. What do you harbor in your heart for those people who meted out this gruesome torture on you?
I had nothing against them. For Malafikor, we saw in the prison before I discharged. At one point he came, I think he fell out with Jame, and he was sent out of the State House back to Fajara Barracks. And once he came with Lieutenant Combo. And when Combo came, normally he must come with an escort. Out of curiosity, I asked, where are your escorts? He said, it's your class, meaning Malafikor. I said, where is he? He said, he's at cell number 4. And then I said, why not you call him to come in? And then he went and forced him to come. And when he came, I said, but why didn't you come to our cell number 1 when you are the escort to Lieutenant Combo? He took down. I said, we know each other from the training. What you have meted on me, I knew you haven't done it alone. You were sent. But you have done your bit. I have forgiven you. And since then, yeah, why not we became good friends? Each time he came, we talked. And it was along this line that he revealed most of these things, that whenever they were torturing me, beside the tape recorder, they had filmed it on video. And they had shown it to Jame to watch. But as I said, this part I cannot confirm.
What happened to my man Lafikor ultimately?
I don't know where he is exactly.
He's dead.
Oh. May God
never had?
May God have mercy on his soul. I never had his dead. Oh, yeah.
What do you feel about Alaji Martin?
If I see him also, I would forgive him. I have nothing against them. Absolutely nothing. Even Jame, as I said, when I left the prison, the day I left the prison, right at the main gate, I had said it clearly. I have forgiven him.
But your ordeal did not stop after your conviction.
Yeah, klar. It will not stop. I knew it would not stop. But I don't have to live in that situation. I have to find a better future.
Well, tell us about the attempts to have you poisoned.
Okay. This was the last 6 months before I discharged from prison. Actually, the timing ranges for 2 years, 3 months. It all came about, I was sentenced for 9 years, and normally as a citizen of the country and a convict, I was supposed to be given a parole after having served 6 years, 9 months, meaning 3/4 of the sentence. And this was supposed to be September 2001. October or September, I can't recall exactly, but if we calculate 6 years, 9 months, it will take us around August or September or October 2001. I was not relieved. I went to David Colley. I told him. That day, David Colley, he wept. He showed me that it was not him, and I confirmed. He showed me the letter he wrote to the Minister of Interior, asking for my release. But the Minister of Interior, of course, they also couldn't do anything. They wrote back that I was not going to be released. And I told David Colley on the face, I said, me, I knew this remaining 2 years, 3 months, I will serve it to the end. Meaning I have to serve the whole 9 years completely to the end. But I made it clear to him, I will not die in the prisons. I will go alive. This I knew. And I told him also to give me a new uniform, the prison uniform. I insisted until he gave me 2 pairs.
In which part of the prison did you serve your term?
In security number 1, cell number 4.
Not even general convicts?
No, I was throughout in that 1-man cell for 9 good years.
Most of the time wearing what?
In my birthday suit, completely naked. And for most of the time they had poured water in the cell, and I would be on that concrete floor with water.
Tell us about the attempt to poison you.
Okay. It went up to the last 6 months before my discharge. The first attempt, I believe, was to put me in another charge to extend my prison term. And this was done by one Yaya Jaju. At the time, he was a superintendent. Because he used to tell me, they name Yaya Jammeh after me, because his name also was Yaya. He come from, I believe, Faraba Bantang. But for me, that was not important. And as I say, I would say, in the prison, the diet, the food, we have 2 types of food in the prisons. One is the general diet, meaning GD, and the other one is the high protein we call HP. This general diet was for everybody in the prison. If anyone was to be given this HP, the high protein, you must have gone to the hospital and a doctor would have prescribed this particular food for you. And throughout my stay in the prisons, for the past 8 years, 6 months, I never thought to have that opportunity. And I was never sick where I went to a doctor and the doctor prescribed such a particular food for me. And knowing my relationship with this particular Yaya, this superintendent, I never expected such a gesture also from him. From nowhere, out of the blue, one day he came smiling with a small piece of paper. He came, I was in the cells, and he knocked, they opened the door, and he said, today you are promoted. But that's the term we use in the prisons, meaning you have graduated from the general diet to the high protein. What it means, the difference is only that the general diet, this is the general cooking for everybody in the prisons. So this HP, why they call it HP is only that it contains more vegetables. And maybe if you have to have a fish, it will be a whole fish. If it have to be meat, probably also maybe 3, 4, 5 pieces of meat. That's the only difference. Fine. When he came with this piece of paper, small paper, he said, Sabali, today you are promoted. For me, what was it? I was still in the prison. And then he said, from today, you will get the high protein diet. And you will get 2 basins, meaning my lunch, my dinner would be the same. I only said to him, thank you. But for me right now, my brain has started working. One, as I said, I was never before a doctor, for that particular doctor to prescribe such a food for me. And I knew this particular yaya would never, on his own accord, give me that chance to have that particular food in the prison. Never. So I knew something was amiss. I prepared myself psychologically, but what it was, I could not tell, and I cannot tell. We were there. They started bringing the food. It came normal, every day 2 basins, apart from the breakfast. I will eat. The other basin I will give to Suleiman Sar. This Suleiman Sar was the one who was involved in the Farafenni attack. And it went on, until one day, my suspicions became true. In the prison at the time, we have the chief cook, who was Jerry Colley. We have the assistant chief cook, who was also Colley. I forgot his name.
Where are these colleagues from?
They are from Casamas.
They're not Gambian?
No, they were serving jail terms also. Okay. The second, the chief cook was Jerry Colley. The second one was Salif Colley. Jerry and Salif. Okay. My wife's surname is Colley, so I built a good rapport with the 2 of them, even before this incident. Meaning to change my diet from general diet to high protein. And Salif Colley, the deputy chief cook, was responsible for cooking and dishing out this HP, this high protein. And as I said, he used to bring this food to me. And when he didn't come, it was Harbabu, he was serving life sentence, he used to come. And in the prisons, we have a helper at the infirmary, at the clinic, Ablaiba. He was serving life sentence. There are 2 Ablaibas, they were all serving life sentence, but here I mean the younger one. One day, Salif Colley came, brought my food. I was playing Scrabble with Elef Jame. And normally when they come with my food, I would motion them if they found us doing something like playing draft or playing Scrabble or doing nothing but we are sitting outside during break periods. They will take the 2 basins and put it inside my cell on the table. Actually, this table was just a cement slab. Now, on this particular day, Salif came with these 2 basins and then went inside my cell and stood instead of putting the basins down and come out as usual. So he called Alolom in Jola, meaning my in-law. My Yola has come back now. Now he called me Alolom. I say, yeah. Joe, come in Jola. I was playing Scrabble. I didn't go. I told him, put it down on the table where I used to put it. So he was still standing there. Then he called again, Alolom, Joe. So Elef said, Wulieta, maybe I keep money fendekam in Mandinka. Reluctantly, I woke up, I got up, I went. But then the officer who escorted them followed behind me immediately. And as soon as I entered my cell, he told me in Jola, Tamburi Snyangas, meaning, do not eat this food today. I don't know what was the reason. So I said, okay, and he left with the officer who was escorting them. So the 2 basins were standing there. Since the others have their food, I ate from their basins. In the evening, the morning shift had gone home. In the evening, they brought our dinner. Mine was already in the cell. As I said, I have 2 basins every day. My lunch and dinner comes together. When they brought the other basins for the other detainees there or the other convicts, 1 basins, 1 basin, 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 Harbabu came, and Ablai Sow, this younger Ablai Sow, who was a helper at the infirmary. Normally in the evening, he brings medication for prisoners who were in the security wing to take their evening doses. And when he came, Salif had told him, go and tell my in-law that in the food, there was something Yaya had put inside your food. How it happened, later he explained to me, he himself, that whenever they wanted to put something inside, Yaya would tell him, if you finish cooking before you take the basin to Sana, bring them to my office.
Which Yaya?
This is Yaya Jaju, the superintendent in the prison service.
Proceed.
And he would take these 2 basins to Yaya at his office. And if you would know where this building is in the prisons, it has just behind you is glass doors. Anybody who stands outside can see somebody right inside. And then Salif said he stood and watching. But he don't know what Yaya put inside the food into these 2 basins, but he knew he put something inside these 2 basins. And then he would call him inside, and Salif would enter the office and take these 2 basins and bring them to me. And he had told Salif who never mentioned it because he had asked him, did you see anything? No. Okay. And it continued like that. So each time Salif took this basin to the superintendent Yaya Jaju, Salif would make sure that he sent me a message. But also he would make sure that he sent another basin under Suleiman Saad's name, which is also a high protein, but not a full basin. Meaning he could give it to Suleiman Saad as a gift, but this was meant for me. And when these 2 basins were all brought to me, in the prisons is a law. When the prisoner refused to eat his food or her food, they would report and take it to the headquarters. So all along, I also played along the line. When the 2 basins were brought and I was informed that Yaya had put something inside, I would take these 2 basins, dip my hand in both these 2 basins for the lunch one, and the dinner one also I would do the same thing, as if somebody had eaten from these 2 basins, and put it in my chamber pot, meaning where I make my pee-pee. Now, in the morning, when they come, they will look at the 2 basins and see that it's like, oh, he has eaten. But I never ate from those 2 basins.
What do you say was the effect of the conduct of Koli?
David Koli or which Koli, sorry?
The cook.
He informed me.
He saved your life, didn't he?
Exactly. And I would come to that, what also I did when I left prison.
What other attempt was made on your life while you were in prison?
These were the moments when they would torture me, and then they would send the information outside that Sana had hit his head on the wall. Actually, they would do that, but the information would go around as a rumor that Sana has hit his head on the wall and he has broken his head.
How about the injections?
This would come on the 29th of August 2003.
Tell us about it.
This was from James, couple James, but the one who administered this injection was Famara Sane. He was, before coming to the prison department, he was at the army.
He was at which army?
The Gambia National Army.
What's his full name?
Famara Sane.
And what did he do to you?
This time I had malaria. And for 2 weeks I was laid low by malaria. I was never taken to the hospital or attended to. And one fine afternoon or in the evening, first came James, this James Jaju. They were both working in the infirmary in the central prison. James came, he asked, I said, yes, I had malaria. I was still lying down on the bed. And then he went back. The next, the 2 of them came, and Famara came with a syringe and needle. Before I could realize anything, chuck on my left thigh. And up till today, this pain is there, and I have my legs, the right is longer than the left one.
From that injection?
From that injection.
Do you know what they injected in you?
No, I don't know. I can tell. For me, my fear factor was one. And with fine, it might have been fancy in my brain. Maybe they injected me with AIDS, nobody knows. Hepatitis, nobody knows. Things like that were reeling in my mind. Or a deadly poison that could eat in me eventually. When I have to leave the prisons, maybe a month or two, I could die. And it would have been seen as a natural death.
Were you able to walk after this injection?
Nay, for 2 good months, I was not able to walk.
Do you know what information went out of the prison concerning your leg?
That I was paralyzed.
How do you know that?
My family members told me. In fact, one of my auntie who was here right now, but she's gone home, could have attested to that. And David Colley also could attest to that. Farmer Colley also could attest to that. He was an SPO at the time. And Balajo, I forgot his name, but he was also an SPO. I go into this one quickly. This particular day, it was around between 4 and 5. The morning duties had ended their tour of duty, and the afternoon duties were there. And then Ablai Bojang came quickly and said, dress up, you have a visitor. I said, okay. You can't take me like that without telling me who I'm going to visit. Because at this time I had no visitor.
Why did you have to dress up?
I had to go to the headquarters.
Yes, but why did you have to dress up? You didn't have any clothes on?
No.
You were always naked?
Yeah, in this particular point I was naked. Then he threw the uniform on me. Of course, between Abla and me, this is Jola and Fula. And then I dressed up. He took me to the headquarters. And when I arrived at the headquarters, my auntie was standing, but her back towards me. And she was there quarreling or trying to find out with with Farmer Colley. Because Balajo and Farmer Colley, they look alike. They are all short and the same prison uniform. So for her, as she later told me, was that she told Balajo, or David Colley told Balajo, go and bring Sana. And Balajo came in. So all of a sudden, she was facing the headquarters and Farmer Colley came from the other end. So for her, it was like Balajo went this other side of the confinement and come out from the other door, was trying to avoid her. And then she told him, and it was like, then I arrived with Balajo and Ablai Bojang. Then when I arrived from her back, I hooked her from the rear. And then she turned. Then she said, Yarabe Balurin in Fula, look at a wuri. I told him in Fula, Hoko. Then she told me, I'm just having lunch. And a lady friend of mine come and said, they have just buried you at Josuang Cemetery. And I said, but who told you? They said, it's my friend. I said, your friend told you that? Yes. And I told her, if I have to die here, you will know about it. Here, I will leave this prison alive. And then she left for home.
Mr. Sabali, I have no further questions for you, but I'll yield the floor to the commissioners to ask whatever questions they have, and thereafter you would be given an opportunity to address the Gambian people. I would prefer that you do it in local languages. Speak Wolof or Ofula. We have heard you in Mandinka yesterday, and this is just for listeners who do not understand English to be able to hear you or aspects of your testimony in their own languages. But the choice is yours.
If I have the permission, can I say something quickly? It's just...
Please, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know how far, whether we're going to sit again to continue, but I want to make a correction here. We're all Gambians. I have no problem with any journalist, but lies have been paraded and is on endless. Okay, sorry, I'm talking Dutch now. Endlessly, lies have been paraded. And I would like to make a clarification. Omar Ba was a journalist here in the Gambia. When I discharged from the prison, he was not the first journalist who interviewed me. Correction. It was Sirif Bojan Jr. who interviewed me right at the main gate of the prison when I stepped out. 1. 2, he just wrote not long ago that anti-athlete source here was the one who harbored me, gave me housing, and yeah, you could find this information in the internet. I am saying I am not ungrateful to anybody. I will not deny knowing Auntie Adelaide Sose, like any other person here, but she never knew where I was. We never saw when I left the prisons. Not Auntie Adelaide, not her daughter, Leitafa Sose. I am asking, please, if we have to give any information as far as the 3RRC is concerned, let us give the real truth to the Gambian people. No more lies. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, your witness.
Thank you very much, Counsel, and thank you very much, Mr. Savali, for your candor and for your testimony. Commissioner Sim, if you have any questions, please indicate. Yes, Commissioner Carr, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. I have some questions. The first is, I'm interested to know how you came up with the decrease during the transition period.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
The decrease, the military decrease.
Okay.
And what if you played any role in that?
Okay. I am not a legal-minded person, but we employed the services of our Justice Minister at the time, Fafa Idris Mbai. He guided us through this process.
Thank you. The second question is, when you initially came into power, you faced a lot of opposition from the international community. How were you able to deal with that?
I am most grateful that you come up with this question. And here, I think we would, if you look at the negative part, we should also look at the positive part of our council at the time. With the international community, we really had hell with them. At one point, the diplomacy didn't work. Personally, it didn't work. And one time I was in Sierra Leone, they gave me a call and said, oh, we run into trouble with the diplomatic community. They have given a travel advice, meaning they banned their citizens from coming to the Gambia. I said, okay. I cancel my trip, I come home. Luckily, I arrived here, I think, in the afternoon before 3 o'clock. I convened a meeting of the American ambassador, James Molly Scott, who was the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, and another Colin Wood, who was the EEC representative in the Gambia, if I can fully remember the name. And I told them clearly, I asked them, especially the EEC representative, what was the problem that you withdraw your citizens, you gave a travel ban for your citizens to come into the Gambia? Proudly he said, because the Gambia is on fire, so we will not allow our citizens to come into the country here. I said, very good. I got up, I called NICC, the Director of Immigration. I said, from this second, you put them on persona non grata. For the simple reason that, one, since the Gambia is on fire, it is better you people go back to your countries. Your people should know then the country which I come from is on fire. But your citizens will not stay away from Gambia and you stay in that country which is on fire. It's not fair. So I put them on persona non grata. Barely 4 hours later, James Molly Scott, who was the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, at the same time the High Commissioner for Liberia in the Gambia, with Imam Ratib of Banyun, Imam Ablai Job, they came, and 2 other dignitaries, I can't remember exactly. They said, I have to stop that persona non grata. I said, no. The condition here is very clear. They have to go, they leave the house in fire, they must go back to their countries and declare that Gambia is on fire, that's why I cannot stay there. And then they said, okay, we will come back to you. They went, after 2 hours, they came back, used at the residence, and then they said, we have asked our people to come back to the Gambia. I said, farewell, a good deal. This was one example.
Thank you. The final question is, I would like to hear your suggestions for institutional reform as part of our Never Again campaign. Thank you. Okay. You could include this in your concluding remarks.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinti.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Commissioner Kinte. Savali,
Please.
on the 11th,
Okay.
early in the morning, you made an announcement
Correct.
informing the general public that some soldiers lost their life as a result of foil coup,
Correct.
and it was in a fight. Actually, it wasn't a fight, technically, because these people were already captured. In fact, from Yundum to Mile 2 to Fajar, and they were executed.
Correct.
Again, normally when people were less, even if you regard them as enemies, which is unfortunate, because people of the same country should rather regard each other as rivals and not enemies, because maybe one time or the other their differences will be resolved and they'll become one and the same.
Correct.
That should be the national spirit.
Correct.
Yes, I thought they would have deserved, as mentioned earlier on by the council or whatever, a more healthy, humanly treatment even at their burial time. But that's not the point here. Why in the barracks and not in the forest where they were shot, or given to the people, or in a cemetery, which is the norm, is normal. It's very unusual to isolate few corpses and bury them in a special place, especially where people don't have easy access. Where both actions not concealing the truth about what transpired, one. And two, I thought over the years, after this time, after you have aged so much and you've learned a lot of you've got a lot of experience and so on, don't you think if it were this time you had captured these people, you would have either tried them, give them due process or whatever, rather than summarily executing them and being even indifferent about their rights? Thirdly, yes, those days you thought the Geneva Convention was a fallacy. You don't regard it at all. But again, after aging and after gathering a lot of experience at this time, after 24 years, 25 years, what is your perception about and your regard for the convention? And in fact, if you have anything in that, part of it you may keep for your conclusions.
I am very grateful to this question. Actually, it's like you removed it from my mouth. I was going to address that to my dad here, Dr. Sise. In Mandinka, the way I said it yesterday, I would say it in Mandinka, I would not stand here or anywhere and say Dr. Sise misunderstood me. No. But it's the way I put it yesterday. And I didn't mean the Geneva Convention is not a good instrument. That would be cheating myself. Because when I went into prison, after 2 months, 3 months, into my 3rd month, I was visited by the International Committee of the Red Cross. And this was by the help of the Geneva Convention. And when I left the prison, I asked for asylum in Senegal. It was under the Geneva Convention. When I went to Germany, I asked for asylum. I was under the Geneva Convention. What I wanted to say is that during a battle between two forces, these laws are hardly respected. And that is where if I could put it correctly, that's what I wanted to say. But not that the Geneva Conventions were totally shit. Sorry for the language. Right? And I give an example. In 1602, in Geneva itself, the Geneva city itself had tall walls, long walls, high walls, and the emperor of Savoy wanted to overtake this city. And when he came in the night with 2,000 personnel, mercenaries, they called them, they came with long ladders to try to scale the walls of this Geneva city. And from there, this incident is called L'Escarte. Every year, they celebrate it on the 12th of December. What happened, there was even a lady called Catherine Chele. They call her Mère Royam. She had 14 kids, and in this particular night, she was cooking soup for her kids. How people don't come to understand why she took part and denied her kids this soup, this cauldron, big cauldron of soup. She looked, because she was living up, and then she saw these soldiers trying to scale with the long ladders to scale the long walls or the high walls. She poured this soup on the soldiers trying to scale the wall. And then the alarm came, they rang the church bell, and then the inhabitants of this city took arms, and then they fought with these mercenaries. Out of these 2,000 mercenaries, they were able to kill 54 on the spot. They lost about 13 or 12, if I could remember the story. And then they also captured 13 of these mercenaries. Right in the morning, they hung all of them without any due process of law. That's fine. This is 1602. When the Geneva Convention came in the 90s, if I'm right, 1949, then this was already centuries ago. However, I'm not guaranteeing, so I'm not trying to defend what we did as not part of the Geneva Convention. No. But it's just to see, so that I now borrow my landed friends' words. The mindset of the soldiers in battlefront. There you are not seeing anything but to crush your enemy. And this is where our problem is when we are in battle. These rules and regulations in the Geneva Convention, hardly they are respected, if I had expressed it properly.
What I want to say is, at this, whether after all the years elapsed,
okay,
if you were brought back to do the same thing, but with your this age and experience, would you have paid heed to that part as war prisoners and you take them to court and take due process, or would you still maintain that well, you will summarily execute them because that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I said, yeah.
To answer your question directly, I would not execute them because I have learned my lesson. I've become matured. Then I was 27 years old. I had nothing to prove, but I felt I had something to prove. Meaning I was a soldier, I was an officer. I had soldiers under my command, and it was my duty at that particular point to see that they come home alive and safe. That was what I had wanted to prove, but anybody can say there was nothing to be proved. Feel like maybe my landed man would say, no, you had nothing to prove, and I would quite agree with him. If that date were to be brought today, I would act in a different way, more maturely and more humanly.
Yeah, and what about the suggestion that you are concealing the truth from the public, which probably today you may have regretted? If it were today, what were you going to do? Like, one, bury all of them in the camp so that people cannot access the graves for so many years? Mm-hmm. Because of course, if it was in the forest and popularly known, some of these people would have been exhumed earlier than this time.
Correct.
You know, taken by their people or whatever. Of course, it was also going to be a scandal.
Right, correct.
That on the whole, you have summarily killed these people in the forest and buried them.
Correct.
But that's why up to 25 years today, it was very difficult to access them, to have determined their fate, and so on, and put it on spotlight. Also the radio announcement, you could have simply said, well, we overcome them, captured them, executed them. In the beginning they were 2, later 6 were taken. A true story that happened. Probably that also may suggest that you are concealing the truth. That indicates some amount of, some level of regret, mm-hmm, or inconvenience, or whatever you may interpret it. But I'm saying, as at now, if it was this moment, were you going to tell the truth to the people? Or in fact, you would not have gone that far. You would have arrested them and go the right way.
Actually, if you were today, it would have been a different issue today. I would have acted maturely. However, I would like to say, for those of them who were arrested and part of them were executed, were the ringleaders who were executed. The rest were taken before a court-martial. But as I said, if it were today, with my maturity and my wisdom, thank God, I would have definitely behaved like a mature person, without emotion or anger.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Savali, for that response. And it's only 2 days. It's too quick to say quintessential Senator Savali, Frank Kondo, your response on the importance of the Geneva Conventions. You realized that something had happened, perhaps you misspoke on one or two things, but you came back, and that's where quintessentialism comes in, and clarified it. Very helpful indeed. Thank you so much. Commissioner Jones?
Commissioner Jones, thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Savali, for your detailed testimony over the past 2 days. Beyond just identifying the violations that happened within the 22-year period that we're looking at, we're also trying to identify what were some of the institutional lapses such that we won't return to the 22-year period that existed at the time, most especially a coup d'etat. In your testimony yesterday, you did mention that whilst you were planning the coup, on the 21st of July in particular, you were the one who went to get the weapons from the barracks, and you kept these weapons with you even after you returned from the airport, and this went unnoticed. I just want to understand what entailed at the time to the point where it went unnoticed that such amount of weapons were out of the barracks. In terms of quantity, how many weapons are we talking about, and what was the process? I think other soldiers or other witnesses here have explained there was some kind of a logbook where they were able to record whoever's removing a weapon or taking out, signing out for the weapons that they were taking. But could you explain, I just want to understand in more detail how that went unnoticed to the point that you were able to conclude and went ahead with your plans on July 22nd.
Okay, thank you. As I said, in preparation and planning for a coup, it takes a lot of courage, secrecy, so to say, and out of this secrecy, you are able to do many things that are unnoticed. And removing these weapons from the armory was possible because, one, I had the storekeeper on my side. Two, I knew every weapon where they were placed inside the armory. So it was easy to go there, pick them, go out, like a small rat inside a house.
So does this therefore mean that the storekeeper knew that they still were not returned back?
They were not returned back. Okay. Because these weapons were not our personal weapons that we use every day. If they were those type of weapons, that the AK-47 individual personal weapons, they would have been noticed.
Thank you for that answer. I asked a few questions regarding November 11th.
Okay.
Some of the widows of the fallen soldiers that came to the commission testified that following the deaths of their husband, or in fact the night of November 11th, that some soldiers visited their homes and some of them were taken in for questioning. Could you please tell the commission who gave the orders to visit those widows in their residences the night of the execution?
As far as I'm concerned, to my knowledge, I have never heard it. This is the first time I heard that soldiers had visited the fallen soldiers' families.
Okay, you did say that the July 22nd coup was justified for various factors that you detailed out yesterday, but you referred to the November 11th coup as a treason. What's the difference between these two coups?
They are both treason. They are both like, if I would explain, like on Tobaski Day, the way we slaughter our rams, we cut the jugular vein of the sheep. It is treason is just like that to the state. The difference here between 22nd July and our 22nd July and 10th November is that ours was a successful coup, theirs was a failed coup. That's the only difference.
Okay, one more question.
Okay.
You had said that the initial plan of the junta, the council, was to stay in power for 6 months,
Certainly
but
correct.
then this eventually changed. What are some of the factors that you think led to Jammeh's changing this to extend beyond the 6-month mandate that you guys initially agreed to?
There we will come to the collective I am not quickly trying to throw mud on everybody, but these were part of the individual and collective failures. I will not say the institutional failures, but these were outside the institutions, they were individual. Because I learned, first, as I said, when Baba Job came, Soldau, Jobate, and Baril, to try to talk me out to accept forming a youth organization, the 22nd July Youth Movement, I learned similar approaches were made, especially to Sukuta and Burfoot. And from there, even before my arrest, delegations had approached us to extend our stay in power, particularly Burfoot and Sabili. And later I come to understand, whilst I was in the prison in '96, that to say it in Mandinka or in Wolof, Sukuta ak Burfoot ñoo ngemba jaaya pour mu simit uniform bi mu taxaw as a civilian candidate for the presidency.
So in short, it was external forces or external pressure.
Exactly.
Okay. Finally, we've also had some witnesses, one of whom was the former Minister of Agriculture at the time, O.J. Jallo,
Correct.
who said, who explained their own ordeal as well during that time, and in particular mentioned that you visited him 4 times to arrest him. So I would like, in your final remarks, since you had the opportunity to apologize to some of the victims yesterday, if you could also just apologize to O.J. and the crew or the other members that were arrested at that time as well.
To O.J. and all the PP ministers who were manhandled by myself and my guards, I said wholeheartedly, I am very sorry, deeply sorry, and I regret the incidents that have happened.
Thank you. This is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Imam Jallo. You have the floor.
Imam Hussein Jallo, witness. You found a note inside Barrow's pocket.
Correct.
Indicating names of people who are involved in an attempted coup.
Correct.
Did you and your group ever ascertain whether actually that list was written by Barrow or was not planted in his pocket for the purpose of carrying out the intentions to wipe out 11 Gambian lives unnecessarily? That's the first question.
Okay. Do I come in? Okay. To ascertain or not to ascertain, here we have not done that, but personally, I am the one who found this book in his map pocket. Whether he was the one who wrote it or not, I did not ascertain that. But for me, it was enough, the content of in the book was enough for me to know what plan they had against us. Thank you.
Question is,
Please.
what advice would you give to young army officers presently serving against toppling a legal government in view of all the experiences you have gone through and what has happened to this nation for the last 22 years? Thank you.
To the military or the security services in the country, I am saying do not fall on the track we fell. Fine, if you look at any issue, there are 2 sides to a story. If we had failed in our duties as officers and men of the Gambian National Army, the state also had failed. But here, this is not the defense I'm putting forward. You have asked me to talk to what advice I would give to the armed forces. I am saying let us stay in the barracks. If you have any problem, as we did before, try to find out where to address those issues. There are officers also I would advise, please, for God and heaven's sake, for the sake of our nation, take the complaints from the junior officers, the men, and forward it to the right chain of command, and make sure that it is not only enough to forward their complaints, but also to make sure that these are followed until solutions are made out of it.
Thank you. Before we give you the opportunity to make your concluding remarks, Mr. Sabali, Commissioner Carr has indicated that he left out 2 short questions. I hope you make them short. We'll come to you. Bishop, you want to ask for the floor as well. Commissioner Carr, can you hold off a little bit since you had the opportunity earlier? Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Sana Bairo Sabali.
Please.
May I ask, what is the role of the military in a country?
May I comment? The role of the military in the country is the defense of the state. The primary function of the military is to defend the territorial integrity of the country and to uphold the standards of the Constitution.
And you would agree with me not to involve themselves in governance?
It depends on, Bishop, from where you look at it.
It's quite an answer. Thank you. Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, please.
Or do you want me to delve more on that answer, please?
Well, actually, you did not answer the question.
Okay. Can you pose the question, please, again?
I said, do you agree with me
Okay.
that since the role of a military is to defend the state and property, that you are not supposed to be involved in governance of the country?
Okay. Before, my understanding was that we were to uphold the Constitution and the territorial integrity of the country, but I am made to understand now that the army have to stay completely out of politics, and I hold that line correct. And thank you for your advice. And
Thank you, Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I left out two questions, and the
Okay,
first
please.
is in relation to some of the committees we have in the Commission. What happened to the two ladies that you mentioned were tortured, and did they develop any subsequent complications out of that?
yeah, one to this day could not conceive any baby, and the other one could never go to bed with a man.
Thank you. The second is in relation to the ban that the junta imposed on political activities at the time. What informed it?
Sorry, please.
The ban on political parties at the time. When you took over, you imposed a ban on political parties. I'd like to know what informed that decision.
What form that all?
Sorry?
I don't get your question clearly, please.
When the junta took over,
Forgive me.
there was a ban on political parties.
Right.
Yes, I would like to know what informed that decision. Thank you.
Actually, we wanted to first consolidate ourselves, and we felt if we had let the political parties at free will, there was going to be a lot of disturbance in the administration of the country. So as such, we gave ourselves some time to say, okay, we ban the activities of the political parties until such a time that we felt the waters have calmed down, then we could open the gate so that all political parties can take part. But as I said, for me, this is not going to come into play because we are going to hand over in 6 months.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Imam C. You have the floor.
Yo, Menama Heti.
Hakule mbarano be fajara.
Hey.
Imam,
Imam,
could you allow for the interpreters to take position before you proceed, please? Imam, dañ lay ñaan nga xaar interpreter yi ñu jël seen place su ko defee ñu mën a dégg li ngay laajte mais foog naa pare nañ mën nga continuer.
Mbarano be fajara dido mbarano be ton.
The two who were killed in Fajara,
Nega do me de yundum.
when you brought them in Windum,
On ube nyanden wala ko weti ton kadi ngartudon nawdon beeda.
did you bury them in the same day or you buried them
Wala lu
when
fogo
you went and
nyam
collected them? Or it happened in the same day?
Banyana Mingulbe.
The same day, we buried them in the same day.
Nawno be ladde to kadi ko homoktu nawdon be ko suba kan ko nyalaw.
The one you took at the forest, what time did you take them at the forest? Was it in the morning or in the afternoon?
I had the kiki then.
In the afternoon.
Digide.
In the afternoon.
Hawro yema.
It went on.
Futantao.
Afuto
Then
futane.
Maghrib, it was not yet Maghrib prayers.
Nam lal dimal ngal na jamir ande kadi yo ware.
The second time,
Teska aki hen hay goto mo ganda hoore ma goto fo wari o.
You did not even mention who killed what and who and who.
When ande jamirɗande yo ware kadi ana fella on jamanu wala felli.
When you give the order, didn't you yourself, did you shoot or you did not shoot?
Mi felli.
I shoot. I shoot.
Ɗum so yewti kadi mbolol ma jetta mbolol ma jarna.
I'm praising you.
E jabbo garɗa ngo ha ɗo
For you to accept to come and testify.
E nunɗuɗa kadi kalɗa ko mbaɗɗa ko fof.
And you also accept what you have
ala hen ko cuuɗiɗa ala hen ko
you did not
caliɗa.
hide anything, you did not deny anything.
Mbiɗon mo hen jetta mbiɗon mo hen
I
jarna.
am praising you on that.
Kadi mbiɗon ma namɗo kadi hakkude musidɓe
Also
mbaɗɗaɓe
asking
kadi
you-
ko hono on kadi miñorɗa hen.
The people that you offended, their relatives, what is your intention in that?
Mi hulata hen neɗɗo mi hersata hen neɗɗo.
I will not be afraid of any human being, and I will not hide on any human being.
Gilan darmi ɗo ko alquran o nangumi he jungo.
When I stand here, I swear to the Holy Quran,
Mimi ko gonga tan kalanmi ɗo.
I will only speak the truth,
E gonga o kalmi ɗo.
and I speak the truth.
Si mi feni ɗo,
If I lied here,
so onon on ganda gonga o.
if you people, you the concerned, you do not know the truth.
Jomirawo Allah o tin o en o.
Allah the Almighty, who is seen us
Takɗo ne o.
and who created us,
O andi gonga o.
He knows the truth.
Allah tigi e hoore mum wiye alquran e.
Allah Himself have said it in His Quran.
Kul ja'al haqqu wa zaka batila inna batila kana zahuqa.
The saying goes on.
Meaning ta suddu gonga o wudere ganduɗa ko wudere fenande.
Don't hide the truth, and the truth that you say is a lie.
That is, do not conceal the truth. Do
Do
not
not
cover the
conceal the
truth with lies
With
or
lies.
falsehood while you know what the truth is. Do not conceal the truth or cover the truth with falsehood when you know what the truth is.
Ɗum so yewti kadi hono caggal mum
And
o
after
jaltuɗa
that-
ko leydi ndi mbar ɗuranama caɗele caggal leyɗe.
Hope when you return back to the country, hope it did not give you any difficulty outside world.
Min gila ngaram mi ɗo mi miijake ha hunde si wona mi ara ɗo mi haala gonga o.
When I was coming back to this country, I did not think of anything. The only thing I have in mind is that I'm coming to this country to give my testimonies.
Si mi ruttimane si mi rutaki fof ko battal Allah.
If I go back or I did not go back, all it is I will see that is the.
ko jaltuɗa ko mbimi mbara daña caggal leyɗe to caɗele.
What I'm asking is that when you went out, when you went on exile, hope you do not have any difficulties outside.
Caɗele mom hay sire galle ma caɗele na ɗon surtout sa funti
Even
leydi mo.
in your compound, you have difficulties rather than go if you go out.
Kono noon, like the English said, there's no place like home. Galle ɗo ɗo gonɗa ko ɗon ɓuran ma sa yehi leyɗele.
When your compound is better than when you go out.
A jarama.
Thank you very much.
Sana Kogonga Halido and Yarama. If you have, we will now give you the opportunity to make your concluding remarks, and you can do it as Council indicated earlier
Okay.
in the local languages that you can speak in. Please proceed.
Gambe mandinkol anakam moylal. Smamboki wolofi.
Hello, could you allow the interpreters to position themselves, please? Go ahead, please.
Mbadi mandinkol anakam moylal.
For fellow Mandinkas and those who can speak Mandinka.
Ay ngala tentu bake.
Great thanks to the Almighty God.
And nga Gambia dingol tentu bake.
And I'm expressing my sincere thanks to the Gambians
And Gambia masakunda membe sirin science.
and the present Gambia government.
Parce que lafta mim fola tenting.
Because what I want to say now,
Kabimbote mbanko kambota kaso don tata banta.
since I came out of prisons and I went out of this country,
Banko la kano kama.
because I love this country, because of that,
Nene man si tilo wala suto.
I've never sat down during the day or a night,
Aket kamunta munyama toltinu.
just like I was a mad person before.
Parce que mbe ferol be sidi kane num pour kamurun nan kana banko bondi ya jame bulo kono.
I was planning everything to come back into this country and get and remove Yaya Jammeh from power.
Ngaw jiko landi lumenna.
But the day I had that, I planned to do that.
Lumenna President Barrow sita through the coalition.
That's the day I stopped that when President Barrow took over the country. That's the day I stopped planning to come and remove Yaya.
Hejnya ninga tol fo bi mo jama safo ko munat nyaadi lom.
If I name names today, people will start speculating.
Jamaning in diaspora diol moy mo be ba fola ibe siso lipala.
So many people in the diaspora were talking,
Ibe siso lipala.
beating their chests.
Ntolenga jamme bondi mansakundato.
We removed Jammeh from the government.
Tonyalem yela
yeah.
kabo don kele momo.
They tried something, everybody tried something,
Jama bi je wolbe num dumal.
but there were many who were on the ground.
Imam fundi kenabato.
They didn't come out into the open.
Wala minugi ke siso lipanum.
Those who were beating their chests,
Ila bankudi ya kano man tambe minu benum mabonin duma.
their love for this country was not more than those who were on the ground.
And bi nse mofula fo Gambia dingol ye ay kono.
Today I will name two people among Gambians.
Ning ngaw tofol nyin tofulol fo.
If I name these two people,
Ka tandilem dronko.
just to show
O ntol nena man siya ngambulol la nyokan.
we never sat down complacently.
Suleiman Ndaw.
Suleiman Ndaw,
And nena man si doto. Ngambulol la nyokan.
he never sat down or he never rested.
Bi mbafala Ibrahima Silla atele minister to be information.
I will call another one, Ibrahim Asilla. He's the Minister of Information presently.
Amadou Ba, Minister of I don't know which ministry he has now.
Ahmad Ba, I cannot say which ministry he's heading,
Nse nyim foko ngambulo ulindi.
but I will raise up my hand.
Momo ka bankudiya siso lipe ka bankudiya tandi.
Anyone who beats his chest to show that I'm a true Gambian,
Iman tambi nyim mo sabola ngamin foten.
you cannot be more than these three people I named.
Oto mo bele jamme bondi.
So I will say that it is everybody's effort that removed Jammeh from this country.
Ale mbe muruna nan sojar kundato.
And I'm coming back to the army.
Mbe min dan la sojar kundato.
What I am begging from the soldiers,
Ay altu alla barak solto.
stay in your barracks.
Alkana fa sana nyole nyinkele aye watim fanamba kelele.
Don't say Sana and Co did this, they succeeded and I will also do it. Don't do that.
Fandol mulunta e domo nyaman killing.
Things can look alike, but they are different.
Ay mango buga wasi wolof tuti.
I want to say it in Wolof.
Ay lima wasi sose moyne.
But I said in Mandinka,
Ñu bari bi Jammeh joge ci nguur gi.
so many people, when Jammeh left this government,
Di bakku di dor dena.
they were beating their chests,
Ine ñun ñoko gene.
saying that we removed Jammeh from power.
Feka fiñ ne kon sa dafa sori Gambia.
And where they were was very far from the Gambia.
Wante ñu ngi won biir Gambia fi.
But I can say they were in the Gambia too.
Konka Jammeh dem na.
Because Jammeh has gone,
Ku nekk dina bakku ne mako gene.
everybody will say that it is me who removed Jammeh.
Wante am na ñoo xam ne ñoom ñu ngi ci suuf.
But there were people who were on the ground.
Liñ doon def yàlla rek a ko xam.
What they were doing is known to only God.
Loolu tax ma ne Souleymane Ndaw.
This is why I said Suleiman Ndaw,
Amadou Ba.
Hamad Ba,
Ibrahima Silla.
Ibrahim Silla,
musuñoo goma seen bot yi.
they never closed their eyes.
Bëccëg guddi ak bëccëg.
Day and night.
ñu ngi doon xalaat naka la ñoo
They
génne
were
Yaya Jammeh.
thinking, planning how to come and remove Yaya Jammeh from this country.
But lii musta nekk loo xam ne dafa indi fitna si réew mi.
And they planned to do it in a way which will not come with trouble in this country.
dem nañ ci nga xam ne diplomats lañ different countries.
They went to many places, to diplomats in different countries,
pour ñu mën a weigh down on Jammeh.
so that they can have something to do which will remove Jammeh here.
kon man su ma gisee nii di door dina dina man maa ko génnee.
But if I see people beating their chests saying that I removed Jammeh from the Gambia,
dama dee ree si suuf rek ma noppi.
I will just laugh and keep quiet.
Gambia banko.
This country, this Gambia,
ntol bele dentala.
it belongs to all of us.
comme Samson yaa ko ñaame in the Bible.
Just as Samson did in the Bible.
ni banko la pillars ol bondi asangoy boylantol bele kanjang.
If you remove the pillars from the house, it will come down.
woto ñing TRRC.
So this TRRC,
nte kum follow. nte la ñanta kontaan naa ko wala.
I should be the most happy man about it.
parce que ñin sañi monni fulo sañi monni lulo be kono.
Because these 25 years,
dokoti je mo man lipa menna.
there is no stick which people didn't take and beat me with.
They
said everything about me.
They
go even to my family. There's nothing that they didn't tell my family. There's nothing they didn't write in this internet. But I know I didn't want to talk until a day like today.
Wala testimony day.
On my side, it looks like the day of confession or the day of testimony.
Kabring TRRC in starter.
Since this TRRC started,
Henya Jamata lon na barin safu biya senea.
Maybe many people will not know, but I want to clarify it here.
Nga kumase ka Federal City pur kana Gambia yang.
I started planning to come to the Gambia.
Panna passport mimbe mbulo kono.
But the passport I was having,
of course, nga problem sur Gambia jan nembor tantara banta.
of course, I had a problem in this country. I fled the country.
Nchitano dunia be kono fo Gambia.
I can go to every place except the Gambia.
Wala tinna mannano nyantana wato menna.
That's why I was unable to come the time I wanted to come.
Fo alay Federal futandi wato menna sibitulungo.
Until when God's time came on Saturday,
Nga ala tentunga the Gambian embassy ala anala staffol geyenge tentu.
I thank the Gambian people. I thank the Gambian embassy, the ambassador and his staff.
And na brother lead council tentunga jay.
Plus my brother, the lead counsel, I want to thank him.
And in the whole TRRC.
And the whole TRRC.
Paska damata kenola.
Because he cannot go it alone.
Nganyo moit telephone auto.
We talked on the telephone.
Nko mbina Gambia.
I said, I'm coming to the Gambia.
Mojama bijed.
There are many people.
Teron ninka funtel.
Friends and the like.
And family mole.
And some family members.
Gambia.
Who said, no, Gambia is a no-go place for you.
Okay, ntita.
I said, okay, I won't go.
Afo TRRC ko ilafta diamla Skype leto.
Tell the TRRC that I want to talk to them through Skype.
Hani lumena me bala Dakar kana jang.
But even the day I was leaving Dakar to come to the Gambia,
afu nyoma akili kalamuta.
One of my friends was aware of it.
Because ate abota jang nata kabada Dakar kana Gambia jang arjumo lungole.
Because he left Dakar and came to the Gambia on Friday.
He went
back to Dakar on Monday.
That
Monday morning was the day I left and came to the Gambia. When I told him that I'm going to the Gambia, he opened his eyes on me just like something terrible has happened. I told him, I'm going to the Gambia. I'm not going there to tell them the truth there.
Na side of the story
but I will tell them the side of my story.
Gambians
can weigh it for themselves and remove the truth from lies. That's why I am here.
Because
we were in darkness within these 25 years. This is why Commissioner Kinte said we hid things. Yes, it's true. Because we didn't open our mouths to clarify things. But me, myself alone, just as I said, there were so many things written on the internet, questions and so on, but I kept quiet all along. I kept my mouth shut until a day like today. So I will say at this point that TRRC, I will tell the whole Gambians that anyone who was a soldier, whatever you go through, before TRRC will come for you, come yourself to the TRRC and show yourself. They will give you a day. They will give you time. You come and say and tell them the truth, how you know the truth. They will be able to know the truth from lies. If I come here and tell lies, maybe they will not know it. But the Almighty God who created me will know. And so one day God will reveal it. My principle here is that's this. I can come here and tell lies. But I was not alone there. Those who were with me will also come here and they will tell the truth. Tomorrow, but how am I going to look at the Gambian people? Or how am I going to live here? If I say God doesn't know that, well, I'm doing something against God. But it's just to say a word, say something.
Banta.
The news I want to send out now,
I am sending it to Yankuba Ture.
I'm sending this news to Yankuba Ture,
Edward Singate,
and
Yaya Jame.
I want to beg them, for God's sake, let them plan by all means, wherever they are. Let them try and come and face the TRRC. There's nothing wrong in it. If there is anything wrong, just come and tell the truth. Let's tell each other the truth. The country can move forward so that we can come out of the fire that we were in. Some countries also held the TRRC like this. Rwanda,
South Africa,
Liberia just near us,
Sierra
Leone, and not long ago Canada did it.
And I am
and I'm very happy. Because if you look at their composition of their TRRC, their citizens were mixed with others, or mixed with foreigners.
But
this TRRC
is pure Gambian.
It's purely Gambian affair. That means that we will understand each other's culture. I'll come to myself now.
The
whole Gambia, I'm appealing to you. To appeal to you and beg two things. The people you offended, so that they will have forgiveness in their hearts. So it is true. Anybody can get up here and say, "Sana, shut up." The hardship you meted on the people, those who died, because to stand here and say, "Please forgive me," will not bring those people back. But it is true. Anyhow, what I can say is, I'm appealing to you, I'm begging you people. When I was leading and the soldiers who were following me, whatever we did wrong, and it is not the right thing to do, I'm begging all of you, please, I'm begging for forgiveness in my name and those who were following me. Just as I said, I was a kid, or I was a child, or a young person in those days. I was not experienced. But today, I thank God, I have reached an elder's position. It means that I now know what is good and what is wrong. If I can have it my way,
November 10, November 11,
November 10 and November 11, those who died in our hands, I would like to see their families, to appeal to them and beg them for forgiveness.
I come back to the the institutional failure of the country. I come back to the, now I want to talk in English, please. Okay, I come now to the institutional failures of our country on or before the 22nd July 1994. As we all say, at the time we had corruption to our necks. We were swimming in corruption. It was nothing but everybody was for him or herself. And these were some of the main roads that we rode on to get to where we had to go to on the 22nd July to take over the reins of the country from the former ruling PP party. My little advice, I'm still young among elders here. If you are within the elders, you must not raise your voice, for the elders know better than you. However, since I have the opportunity to be asked what I would advise to the public, I take this opportunity to say what I want to say now. In this institution, we have a culture where if everything is going right, I am responsible. When something goes wrong, somebody is responsible. In government, I had personally, I never rested. I give an example one day. I went to the clinic in Sukuta. It was around 6, 7 in the evening. It was my normal patrol control. I go alone. I went to this clinic. I found the nurse on duty was not there. I asked the watchman, where is the nurse? The watchman immediately wanted to beat me. And I explained to him, I was the vice chairman, and then I wanted to see the nurse on duty. He said in Mandinko, Atatala kambano leya. Nka Mandinko ngola, atata mintole akatatala kambano leya. Nka isen sambanoje bang akonyako manjelong. Nga akonyama sambanoje bimbe sambalane.
I told her, if you don't take me to the place, I will take you. I will go with you to wherever I'm going to. And he said to me, I know that place. So he got into the vehicle and we left. We took left and right turns until we got to the compound. When we arrived, we knocked at the door. The man came out. He stood and asked me, what are you doing here? I said to him, I am asking for the nurse who is on duty at the hospital. He said to me, if you do not leave this place, I'm going to do something to you. I said to him, whatever you will do, but I've come here to pick the nurse. He took a position, wanted to hit me, and I announced to him that I was the vice chairman, Sabali. I think at the time the nurse heard my voice, and she came out running. I said to her, get into the vehicle, and she got into the vehicle, and so we left with the watchman. We got back to the clinic. As we got to the clinic, we found the women.
Ladies were in labor.
We found women in labor. They were assisting each other.
Minister of Health Kumandi.
That was the day that I called the Minister of Health.
Fatumata Tambajan
Jalo.
Sorry, Fatumata Jalo Tambajang.
Fatumata Jalo Tambajang.
I said I'm at Sukuta Clinic.
I told her to come to the Sukuta Clinic.
Her
husband said to me, why would you be calling my wife this time of the night? And I said to him, well, this is part of our work. When Fatima arrived, it coincided at the time when this woman was assisted and she'd already given birth. And she had a baby boy. And they named him after me.
Another incident at the Serakunda hospital, for example. Incident of Serakunda clinic.
Another incident happened at the Serakunda clinic. We once left Latrikunda Sabiji. Those that got left came from Latrikunda Sabiji. I think everyone would know Master Jata. How his wife was brought to the clinic.
For 5 o'clock.
From morning time up till 5 o'clock. The woman was in labor. The nurses were outside brewing attire. I arrived, went inside, and I found Master Jata. His head was buried in his hands. At the time, I did not know him to be Master Jata. I asked the nurse. Master Jata himself was the one who was angry. He said to me, she's out there seated outside. It's like I asked him the question, what is your purpose of being here? He said to me, I brought my wife here since morning up to 5 and she has not been attended to. I turned and returned back to the door. I asked for the nurse. Those that were seated brewing attire, they all scattered. I held her, brought her inside and told her to assist the women.
Minister of Health Command again.
I Then called the Minister of Health again.
For nurse fulol nkoye transfer in the provinces.
Those two nurses, I requested that they be transferred to the provinces.
Now I come to my own situation in the office to show that there were institutional failures along lines. My own permanent secretary, my own secretary at the Vice President's office, Sehu SR Njai. Aketa Arabalungoliti, 3 people were supposed to travel to Dakar, Nyantala Seminala.
Mosaba Nyantatala Dakar Kata Karamulaje.
Mosabo Inata, Ikonyoko Vice, Nkonam, Ikonyoko Laptayam Fumotola.
These 3 people came to me and told me, Vice, we want you to borrow as a vehicle. I gave them a vehicle. They told me that they will be leaving the country tomorrow, Thursday. That Thursday, they left here and went to Dakar. On Friday, this Sehu Esar Njai, he brought a list for me. He told me, Vice, be quick and sign this. These people are the guys who left here.
He told me, sign this paper, Vice, quickly, because these people are leaving right now to Dakar.
Okay. He told me, sign this paper right away. These people are supposed to leave here right now and go to Dakar. They are supposed to travel by Senegal Air. If they are here up to 12 o'clock, the flight, they will miss the flight. He didn't know that those people had already left the day before. When I took the list from him, I saw these 3 names. Apart from those 3 names, they added other names there until it became 16 names.
Everything together.
If you look at it at that time, these 3 people, their per diem, their hotel bills, all added together,
$20,000.
It was below $20,000. But the list they brought,
it was 4 million plus.
It was 4 million plus. He wants me to sign that document. With the help of God, I saw that mistake. I called MB Wada, the then Secretary General. I called for a meeting.
Sehu Sise Kumandi, who was the chairman of the PSC.
I called Sehu Sise, who was the chairman of the PSC. I showed him this problem.
Under the PSC laws.
They looked at it under PSC laws.
Sise Konyeko, dismissal is the case.
Sise told me that these people should be dismissed.
But
maybe I don't have enough time.
When we come to these institutional failures,
if we come to institutional failures,
everybody was taking part, and everybody was part and parcel of these institutional failures. Yeah, I have my reason. And it is because everybody was there for himself or herself, we failed to make the checks and balances we were supposed to make. It was even like that in the military, in the army. People don't respect the institutions of the state. We take them to be nothing but only belonging to this government. And if I may ask, who is this government? Are we not the government? Therefore, let us respect the time to work. When I was there as vice chairman, I made sure that everybody was at work from 8 o'clock to 1600 hours. And I had a proverb, I change it. People say, you can force a horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. I change it. I will not force the horse to the river, but if you are at the river, you will drink. Right. Tres Drame can attest to that. I once went around and I found 17 ladies, all our secretaries, on one typewriter. Then we didn't have computers in the government, if there were maybe very few. And I asked them, what is your job here? I am secretary, and you secretary, and you secretary. And we came to find out all these 17 ladies, they were transferred to the provinces. For over 4 years, they all refused to go because maybe Sana is my uncle, Sana is my brother, Sana is Demba is my father. I told Tres Drame, bring me a paper and a pen, because we had a list of where we had shortages of secretaries. I closed my eyes, I took the pen, I put it on one name and one name for a school, for example, until we finished these 17 people, ladies. We left only one there who was supposed to be Ngamintra at the typewriter remain.
The one that we found at the typewriter, we allowed it to remain.
And the rest were transferred immediately. And one was there, she was my sister, so to say, extended family. The father is from Lamen, the family is from Lamen, but she has ever refused to go on postings beyond Serakunda. He said even Lamen was a bush town. And I have no doubt if we all would feel the same way, we would not go to the provinces for posting because the province is a bush. I come from Kasakunda. I only see the moonlight. I am appealing to the state. I'm appealing to everybody, every Gambian. Let us respect ourselves in work. Let us see that we go to work, we deliver the work. The European countries are not better than us. They came from a point and they are today developed. We call them developed countries. We are underdeveloped countries. That is total false. We can be developed as they are. The government is not foreigners. In the government are Gambians. Let us help each other to get to where we want to get to. Our past should not be our future. We cannot change our past, but we can change the future, and that we need together. The Gambia we have it today, what we need is Gambian unity, forgiveness, but before the forgiveness, confession to the realities of our mistakes, our misdeeds, and then we forge ahead for a reconciliation, and we look for a better future. Let us not let a dark past cloud a brighter future. And to the journalists, I am not anti-journalism. I am only anti-insincere journalism. Let us give the information as how it is. If you are privy to information before you publish it, please find out, investigate. It is not wrong to wait for 2-3 days to get to the core of the information you're going to deliver to the people, because you are our people who will give us the information. You are there to teach us, to direct us, but also to warn us. Give us the correct information. I thank you all, fellow Gambians. I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sabali, for those closing remarks, and again, for your candor and for the time that you have taken as a brave man to come back to country that had a difficult past with you. Very few people do that. Very few people want to face the truth. Especially, as I said, I keep on repeating the word candor. But we thank you enormously for your testimony and for coming to help this commission to carry out its mandate as given to it by the National Assembly. I also would want to thank the people who made great efforts to facilitate your appearance here. The Inspector General of Police, the Attorney General's office, the investigators here, the legal team, and the entire Secretariat had all worked tremendously to make sure that your travel here is arranged properly and adequately. I want to thank them all very much. This would bring us some... Council, you wanted to say something before I proceed there? Please, go ahead.
I am just pleased to announce that we have just received information from... I'll just read the information as it is received. So, it is, please, can you kindly tell Commissioner Cisse and Esafal that I, Matisala, the late Abdoulaye Ba's wife, has forgiven wholeheartedly for his honesty and truthfulness for the crime he committed. I think, Mr. Chair, you may wish to comment on that. I think it is quite laudable that this family is willing to forgive, even without meeting with Mr. Sabali. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's a very good development. This is what we think we know ourselves, Gambians. Tolerant, forgiving, and understanding. Very difficult task, very difficult for some countries and societies around the world to go over that. But it's a reconciliation thing. I would ask the chairman of the Reconciliations Committee to perhaps say a few words here and then thank them as well. Imam, you have the floor, please. Imam Jalal.
Mr. Chairman, this message is very important for all of us. But more important for our brother here, who has come here to say all that he did and say it in the most noble way. It is as a result of this that this message has come to us. We congratulate you and we thank you. But for the other people who are still behind, it is important that you come to this commission. Our intention is to heal, to forgive and to forget, and so that it will never happen again. I entreat everybody who is involved, who has something to offer this commission, to come forward, and we are looking forward to meeting you. Mr. Sabali,
Yes.
Ajarama.
Can I say something? I want to make an appeal. I would like to offer my services to the state, to the TRRC, psychoeducation, psychotherapy to my victims free of charge, if it is possible. But also, I want to appeal to the government of the Gambia through this TRRC. There's a project, it was a German project, I was running it. It was supposed to be meant for Senegal and the Gambia. But the moment I have to come to the commission, the project was stopped to come to the Gambia. And I felt it is unfair, but it belongs to the German state. They have their rules and regulations as to how they handle our international community in which Gambia belongs to. I am appealing to the government of the Gambia and the TRRC, please, for God and heaven's sake, the project, Gambia needs it more than Senegal. If possible, I would make an appeal that the TRRC meets the Gambia government as soon as possible. You also in turn meet the German government, that is the ministry responsible for international and international social abide, meaning working together in the international community, and the GEZ. You try to get this project to come to the Gambia as soon as possible. They just suspended it, but please talk to the government to help the German government to bring this project to the Gambians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sabali, for that information. We will follow up on it. This brings us to the end of
Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting. Before you suspend this session, I just wish to say that Mr. Sabali came here voluntarily on the basis of assurances and undertakings that the Commission gave to him. He did not ask for immunity. He did not ask for anything. It is just his desire to come out and speak the truth and clear the air about what happened, which motivated him to come, because he believes that the Gambian people deserve to know the truth. Now we have heard Mr. Sabali. He has held up to his own side of the bargain. Now it is our responsibility as a people to also hold onto our bargain. He is a free man on his way to Gambia. He would be a free man going back to where he came from. I implore the general public to respect the arrangement we have with Mr. Sabali, and to also respect his dignity as a human being. We cannot afford to go back to those years wherein we can castigate and lambast each other and say anything simply because one has fallen foul of the law. We have to respect the law and to respect his dignity. It is only that way we can move forward as a people. So I encourage everybody to give Mr. Sabali his peace of mind. The law will take its course at the appropriate time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council, for those wise words. So said, this brings us to the end of the proceedings today.
One last point, Mr. Chair. It's becoming habitual. I just want to put in my exhibit. It should be 0047. I'm sure you wouldn't have any problem with that. It's the investigative report. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have another interruption?
No, sir.
You probably need a lunch interruption. But just want to thank you all. As I said, not just the end of today's proceedings, but also the end of the fourth session of the Commission. Remember, the Commission at the plenary level here holds these public hearings 3 weeks in a row as we go on. His first one was in January 7th to the 31st, second February 11th to the 28th, third 11th March to 28th March, and the fourth 8th April to the 25th today. This brings us to the end of that session. It's not that the Commission would stop work. No, it's just the public hearings that we would take a break from, and the work of the Commission continues with committee meetings as well as outreach activities. So we're not closing shop. It's just the public hearings that we are suspending during the month of Ramadan. So we resume here after Ramadan immediately on the 10th of January for the fifth session, which, sorry, 10th of June, my apologies, 10th of June, from 10th to the 27th of June would be the fifth session, and we would advise you in a timely manner what would come up on the 10th of June. But again, thank you all enormously for the attention, and thank the public really for assisting us in this endeavor that's been given to us by the National Assembly. Thank you all very much. Meeting is adjourned, and we see you June 10th.